Yes.
What are some of the things that you guys are taking part in right about now, like the activity? What are the things that you guys are doing?
Okay, so as much as it's all about sisterhood,
Mm-hmm.
we do have like team building. We have rehearsals where we're usually all together. We get to know each other and all of these things. And there's like these trips that we do together, just so that we can grow and get to know each other and like be there with each other
Mm.
and for one another.
So
And but also it's kind of like it's also a very personal thing,
okay,
right?
yeah.
So when we speak about journey, we're speaking about your journey,
Mm-hmm.
right? Journey pageant. And so we're all doing different journeys.
But how are you balancing this Miss Passionate and school, and then it's acting, singing, and whatever else it is that you do? Because I can imagine it can be overwhelming. I can
Yeah.
imagine. So how are you managing to balance all of these things out?
I feel like when it comes to purpose, there'll always be time.
Definitely.
I actually do advocate for mental health.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to start, well, I didn't want to. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the process of starting an organization called Mental Messages.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's just like this deep thing of like how your mental health is so connected with God.
Mm.
And so I really wanted to help people realize um, mental health or look at mental health from a different point of view.
Hello, 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 and welcome to another installment of Dawning Experience. Ngegama nesibongo ngingusami Maisela. And today I have a lovely, lovely, and young lady that's joining us today that is rather passionate about the things she's going to talk about today, pun intended. But before we go any further, please do not forget to engage with us on our comment section, wherever down below. Follow us on Instagram, but most importantly, do not forget to subscribe. And for any inquiries, do make use of our email address, stoningexperiencepodcast@gmail.com. But I did mention we have a lovely lady in studio today by the name of Botlhale. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank
You
you.
look so
Thank
lovely.
you,
You look
thank
so
you.
lovely. So how have you been since you last saw us? Because you're not a
uh,
first time on Doning Experience.
yeah.
Yes.
I've been good. I've been good.
Mm-hmm.
I've grown a lot and I've tried a lot of new things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's been a journey.
What new things have you tried so far?
So I am on the worship team now at my
Mm,
church,
okay.
and I also joined a pageant. So yeah, I'm trying new things.
And it's great how you're now joining worship team. Some people start off on worship.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a bit of a tricky one for you, or just made life simpler for you?
No, I really love worship.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that has definitely helped me grow a lot, and just something that has helped me expand in my vocals and just spiritually,
Mm-hmm.
because it's so important to have like a spiritual relationship, with your believer, just so that like you don't lose yourself in your talents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned that you joined a pageant since you last saw us. What pageant is this? Miss Passionate.
Miss Passionate Gauteng. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a Miss Passionate
Oh,
Gauteng
how dang!
finalist. Yes.
That's great.
Crazy. It's good. It's good. Yeah.
Yes. What exactly is Miss Passionate?
So Miss Passionate Gauteng is a pageant.
Mm-hmm.
It is all about sisterhood. It's a journey pageant. So that's why I remember I joined this pageant around April. And this pageant, no, May, sorry, May.
Maybe.
And this pageant is a journey pageant. So the finals are in December.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a long period of time. But because it's a journey pageant, it's all about growing with the contestants, and just creating a strong bond of sisterhood together.
I mean, that's great. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the winner, you can actually see why the winner wins.
Yeah, yeah.
I can imagine it already makes sense. But why Miss Passionate? Like, what made you go for pageants?
So I initially already do modeling and
Oh,
acting
okay.
and singing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I try pursuing that as much as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I always felt like I wanted to do something that actually gave me the platform. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I was searching for pageants, most of them were like closed, the registrations. So I was like, this is so sad. The one time, I was like, the one time I decided that I want to get into pageantry and
Mm-hmm.
actually take that step that I've been scared to take,
Mm-hmm.
like the registrations are closed. And then I remember I was like, I give up. And then I closed my phone. And then there was literally a pop up ad when I opened um Instagram, and it was about Miss Passionate Gauteng. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, registration's open? And I was like, I'm gonna go for it.
So, what was the audition process like? How exactly did you audition?
So I didn't audition. You
Mm-hmm.
actually have to pay a registration fee. And so
Mm.
I paid the registration fee. But then also, as much as you pay a registration fee, they also have to first see, like, why should you be in the pageant,
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are your capabilities? What
Oh,
is your
that makes sense.
potential?
Yes.
So that's also like seen through like the rehearsals. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, what exactly is their criteria? So, when they're looking at you before you even pay your registration fee,
Mhm.
what would you say is their criteria? What are they looking for?
There isn't necessarily a criteria,
Mm-hmm.
because we believe that each model deserves a chance. Not even model, like per se person
Person, yes.
deserves a chance when it comes to pageantry, because everyone can be given a platform to speak and be a voice for something out there. So there wasn't necessarily a criteria. It was just a registration fee.
So, what are the things that they are definitely not looking for? Because what if someone is
True,
looking
true.
and thinking, you know what, Miss Passionate, I'm passionate about whatever I'm passionate about.
Hmm.
But what would you say are some of the things that are definite no nos?
Definitely where your passion lies. Wherever your
Okay.
passion lies, you can't be joining Miss Passionate, then you're like, I'm gonna advocate going to clubs every weekend. You're not gonna do that.
Passionate about the right stuff.
Yes, you need to be
Okay.
passionate about the right stuff.
Okay. So you say you're passionate about identity doubt.
Hmm.
So what would you say is identity doubt? Because someone might be listening and like, what is that?
Okay. Yeah, that's real. So I specifically am very passionate about identity doubts, pursuing purpose, and being a voice, so breaking silence. I feel like they're so interconnected. And when we speak about identity doubts, to me, when I think about the word identity, I think about two words, which is I and the word density.
Mm.
And so I feel like when we look at those two words together put into identity, it's, to me, it means kind of like it it refers to the deeper value of self.
Mm-hmm.
So your truest, deepest form is your identity.
Mm.
And I believe that sometimes people tend to doubt their deepest form, their true self. And so when I refer to identity doubts, I'm basically speaking about denying, how you shouldn't deny your deepest form.
So how would you say someone? Okay, you're saying someone shouldn't deny,
Hmm.
their true purpose, I guess.
Yes.
But how would you say? How would you advise someone not to, not deny their true identity, or how would you advise them to really find their true identity?
Hmm.
You know.
I think it all starts with realizing and acknowledging that it's a journey in
Mm-hmm.
itself, and it's all about the journey.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot expect to like find who you truly are without going through certain trials and tribulations, and things certain things are going to happen. And so
Definitely.
for me, something that I had to realize, like, to actually acknowledge this, is that it's going to be a journey,
Mm-hmm.
and it may not feel comfortable, but that's what's so beautiful about it. And through this journey, you start to realize things about yourself. You start to grow in certain aspects of your life, and just become stronger in the things that really form your
Mm-hmm.
true self. So
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned that when you were looking for a pageant, you really looked for a pageant that matched you and the things
yes.
that you offer. Do you feel like Miss Passionate like accommodates you in the person that you are?
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I think, again, I'm really into journey.
Mm-hmm.
When I think about like life and just like being a platform, I think of like how it's a journey. In order to get to a certain place, you're gonna have to actually work to get there first, you know? Um, and so I felt like Miss Passionate for me was like, it was good because I am a person that's very passionate about a lot of things. My mom's
Mm.
sometimes like, oh my gosh, you're doing everything, you need
Everything,
to
yeah.
wait. Like, I'm always like in that quick paced energy, always wanting to do something. And so when I heard Miss Passionate, I was like, yo, that really has a deep, it connected with me deeply. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. So when you say you found something that really accommodates you,
Hmm.
but what are the some of the things that you do in this because you say it's a journey. What
Yes.
are some of the things that you guys are taking part in right about now, like the activities? Some what are the things that you guys are doing?
Okay, so as much as it's all about sisterhood,
Mm-hmm.
we do have like team building. We have rehearsals where we're usually all together. We get to know each other and all of these things. And there's like these like um trips that we do together, just so that we can grow and get to know each other and like be there with each other
Mm.
and for one another.
So
And but also it's kind of like it's also a very personal thing,
okay,
right?
yeah.
So when we speak about journey, we're speaking about your journey,
Mm-hmm.
right? Journey pageant. And so we're all doing different journeys, but we're being there for one another and we are supporting each other through each journey that we're going in.
So what does team building include? Like what specifically do you do in terms?
So team building
Mm-hmm.
includes like color picnics, or maybe we'll go on like a hike together. So
Mm.
like all these fun activities, or even like we can plan things together and be like, let's go do this by like this children's
Mm-hmm.
home, and like we're bonding and grounding ourselves at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then some of the personal work that you're doing, well, specifically for you,
Yes.
what are some of the things that you are required to do or go through or take part in as Botlhale?
So there aren't really any requirements, but
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely been using this platform to actually convey the message that I'm
Mm.
passionate about. And I recently went to a children's home,
Mm.
and for me, that task was more about not even task. It was more about just like going there, connecting with them, because I feel like the greatest thing that you'll ever do is connecting
Mm-hmm. And being there.
and being there.
Yes.
You know, sometimes people go all out, but like sometimes all you need to do is be there, you
Yes.
know. So
Yes.
yeah, I've been doing things like that, like just volunteering and
Mm-hmm.
all of these things. Yeah.
Do you feel like this has helped you grow in some way, shape, or form?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely been an eye opener for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's been such an eye opener for me because I've realized things that I wouldn't have realized in any other thing that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love so much about doing so many things,
Mm-hmm.
is that each thing teaches you something different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely been an eye opener for me.
But how are you balancing this Miss Passionate and school, and then it's acting, singing, and whatever else that it is that you do? Because I can imagine it can be overwhelming. I can
Yeah.
imagine. So how are you managing to balance all of these things out?
I feel like when it comes to purpose, there'll always be time. And
Definitely.
so I feel like the things that I do are the things that are meant for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so because there's that deep connection, someone actually asked me this question. I remember I had an interview with my agent,
Mm-hmm.
my agent for my acting agency, and uh, he asked, "What do you do to balance everything?" And I
Mm,
said, "If you really love it, you'll make time for it,
definitely.
and it's all about." Control, having self control, and just like control over your life, which won't
Mm,
always be possible. Sometimes things get crazy, you're like, what's going on?
mm-hmm.
But it's all about having control. And so I always try to plan my days as much as possible, so that even if I don't plan like writing down, I hate
Mm.
writing low key. But like just like planning it out, thinking it
Mhm,
through, always taking time to myself, being
mhm,
like, is this still for me? So
mm,
I always have space for the things that I want to do
mm,
whilst I'm um focusing on things like school and like priorities.
And how easy or rather challenging has it been with the other things that you do, like your singing, your acting? Especially, you mentioned you have an agent, and I think that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
But how easy or how difficult is it doing that?
So it's not easy. Like I said, you won't always have control of your
Mm-hmm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like it's all about giving yourself enough grace to be
Mm-hmm.
like, not every day is gonna be the same. Not
Definitely.
everything is gonna go the way you want it to go.
Mm-hmm.
Just giving yourself enough grace to be
Mm-hmm.
like, it's okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is it doable? Like, do you feel like in this industry, the things that you do want to achieve or you'll get, I do you feel like they're attainable? Are you getting there?
Yes, yes. I feel like every day, depending on what you do, is one step closer to where you want to
Mm-hmm.
get. And also, I feel like when it when it comes to like getting there,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like oh my gosh, I'm finally where I've always wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, what it means to like get to where I want to be is just like to a place where I feel fulfilled and happy, and the journey in itself is something that is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So
So how receptive have your family been? Your parents? Like
mhm.
how, like when you said, "Mama, I want to do Miss Passionate," like what was the conversation thereafter?
So at first, because I wanted to do pageantry from like a young
Okay,
age.
so she knew.
She knew
Okay.
they know about the
Mm.
pageantry thing. So I've always wanted to do it. I'd say maybe from like the age of 12.
Mm.
And so like the thing is, because I was 12, I was making it sound really expensive, and they were like, we are not gonna
Oh,
do
okay.
that. and,
Okay.
and so like they never really took me seriously at
Yes.
first. I wasn't taking myself seriously. I was like,
At
oh my
12. You're
gosh.
12.
Exactly. But then I feel like the more I grew and just like became mature and like started speaking to them about like these serious things that like we're facing in today's world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I actually said, I actually want to use this platform to give value to
Mm.
the things that I know to share. Um, and my mom was like, now we're getting somewhere. Now you're not
Mm.
in it for the evening dress. You're not in it
Yes.
for the big dress,
Yes.
because at first I feel like I kind of lost sight, or
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't seen what it was all
The
about.
real importance,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
And so with school, like when you mentioned in the school, like maybe please vote for me or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
like how supportive were your peers?
Ugh,
Or maybe
okay.
teachers? Oh, yes.
No, my teachers are definitely really proud. My peers, they're like, congratulations, because
Mm,
like pageantry is always going to be like something that's like, wow, I wish
definitely.
I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at first, that was me. But like, I try not to focus too much on like what they say.
Mm,
So there's been a lot of good support, which I love. But again, I try to always make sure that the site is focused on um the platform
mm,
that like why I'm there, and not like, oh my gosh, you're really in a pageant. It's all about,
mm-hmm.
wow, you're really using the platform
Mm.
for what's good.
What's good,
Yeah.
yes. But do you think people really understand the things that you're saying and the things that you are rather passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
as the name suggests? Like you mentioned, identity doubt. Do you
Yes.
think when you speak on these things, do you think that you're really heard, and do you think you're getting somewhere, like with spreading the word?
I definitely believe that I won't be able to get across to everybody.
True.
Not everyone is going to understand me
Mm-hmm.
the way that I want them to
Mm-hmm.
understand. But I definitely, one thing I know is that if I'm speaking to a crowd of like 10 people, that
Definitely.
there's going to be at least one person that it's going to get to.
Mm.
And I know that because I always make things personal.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the more personal you make it, the better people can connect
Mm. And relate,
and
yes.
relate. Yes, yes.
So, in you, besides identity doubt, do you
Hmm.
feel like there are other ways you have related to other people and connected? Yes.
Yes, definitely.
In what way would you say that?
So, again, I make it personal.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever I'm speaking about, I always try and use personal context.
Mm-hmm.
And so through using personal context, it becomes like, wow, I'm also going through that. Or even if a person is speaking to me, they just like hit, like, when they hit you with this deep story and they're like, oh,
Mm.
that's so real.
Mm.
Yeah.
And do you feel like there's a future in pageantry for you specifically? Like, do you feel like even after Miss Passionate, you're still going to go forth and join pageants and, make a difference in whatever way you can?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I was actually thinking about this just yesterday, and
Mm-hmm.
my mom was like, "Oh my word!" After this pageant, because we were discussing like evening dresses, she was like, "Don't you want to rent a dress?" And I was like, "I want to buy it."
Buy it,
And
yes.
then she was like, "Why? Aren't you doing this only once?" I'm like, "I don't know. I actually might continue in
Mm.
pageantry because it's become so meaningful,
Mm-hmm.
and I've realized why. Like, I was so scared to take that jump in the
Mm.
first place because like it's honestly opened so much um to my mind and just the way I think.
Mm-hmm. What other pageants do you think are suitable for Botlhale?
um
Yeah.
I haven't thought about that one.
Mm.
It would be nice to do Miss Teen Universe.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. Because I can imagine you do need to do the things that really do align with you at the end of the day.
Hmm.
So okay, Miss Teen Universe. I don't really know what Miss Teen Universe stands for or whatever, but what do you think at that platform could be like your bigger picture? You know?
At that platform, I'll
Mm-hmm.
definitely work on bigger organizations
Mm.
to like get through to more people.
Mm-hmm.
Because the bigger the platform, the
Mm-hmm.
more people you can reach.
Mm.
So I would definitely work on stuff like NGOs, NPOs.
So I can imagine with doing such a thing, Miss Teen Universe, you need to be able, of course, like bigger organizations. But do you think, okay, not even, I want to ask, do you think they would really understand, or maybe do you think there are other ways? Because maybe I can think maybe your identity doubts
Hmm.
would relate closely to like mental health.
Yeah, that's true.
So do you think it's something that you would also look into, like advocating for such a thing?
Yes, I actually do advocate for mental health.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to start. Well, I didn't want to. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the process of starting an organization called Mental Messages,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's just like this deep um thing of like how your mental health is so connected with God.
Mm.
And so I really wanted to help people realize um, mental health, or look at mental health from a different point of view and not like how the world looks at it. And
Mm-hmm.
so when it comes to identity doubts, it's definitely something that fits into the mental messages
Mm-hmm.
plan that I have.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just that I couldn't register the organization because I'm under 18. So
But the time will come, and I
it
think,
will.
uh, as it's planted in you, right? The seed is planted in right now. By the time you turn 18, trust me, you're gonna have even bigger plans for it, bigger
Hmm.
ways to spread the word
Yeah.
and share. But when it comes to mental health specifically, what would you say are the ways that you can now advocate for it or spread the word, or what are some of the things specifically when it comes to mental health which you say that you are really wanting to touch on or focus on?
Hey, Downing Experience is sponsored by Dreamstream. If you'd like to support us directly and gain ad-free version of our episodes, click on the link below.
I definitely want to focus on actually understanding why mental health is mental health,
Okay.
you know, because so much of the time, like, a person feels so overwhelmed for like 2 weeks
Mm.
or something, and then like they speak to somebody and they're like, I think you might have depression, and that's not always the
Mm.
case.
True.
Like, your journey is gonna have rocky roads, and you need to know the difference between falling into, okay, so I always like to use these two words, which is mental illness and mental health.
Yes.
You need to understand that your mental health does not determine your mental illness.
Illness. Yes.
You know, just because this one day you were shaky the whole day, now you're gonna tell yourself you have anxiety, and then you're gonna
Mm.
start getting in your own head, and it's gonna start messing with you.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely pressing on the concept of like understanding that it's okay not to be okay, and that does not mean that you're sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you do sound like well informed in the things that you are passionate about.
Hmm.
But what are the ways that you are actually informing yourself and, you know what, keeping yourself there in terms of knowing and understanding? Because you can't just come out and say, you know what, I'm talking about mental health.
Yeah.
And you really have no clue what mental health is. So, what are some of the ways that you are actually informing yourself on such things?
Definitely connecting yourself with people that
Mm,
you want to be like. So connect yourself with people that are wiser than you.
mm.
Connecting yourself. Oh my gosh, people always make this joke with me, like, girl, your name means wise, and that's why you like being
Yes.
around people that are so like wise. And I'm like,
Mm,
oh wow. So I am very firm in being around people that
mm,
are wiser than me.
mm,
I've been doing it like from like the age of like probably 7 or 5 or something, because I remember living in a complex, and I had so many friends, but I wanted to be around that one granny all the time.
okay, yes, because
You see,
you want to know, yes.
exactly, I always wanted to be around that one granny, or that one like older person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like from that, I get to like learn not only from people's personal experiences, but from what they have learned and what they know. And on top of that, also just like having a teachable spirit, always being
Mm,
open to learn and
mm.
to know new things
And make mistakes.
and make mistakes.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
But looking back on your journey, what would you say are some of the mistakes that you have made?
I've made a lot of
Yeah.
mistakes. Like, I would have never thought that I'd be here speaking on identity doubt, because
Mm-hmm.
I used to lie to myself like no one's business.
But
And
it's okay. It's all a journey. Yes.
exactly, it is a journey. And that's definitely what I'm trying to press onto.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it's such a journey.
Mm,
I remember I was always so like in my head.
mm,
And I didn't realize that I was so in my head. I was trying to find myself outside when I
mm,
was keeping myself
mm,
cultivated in my own mind,
mhm,
which is a good thing depending on how you do it.
mhm,
But the way I was doing it was like, I'm always in my head thinking about what other people are thinking.
of you.
And on top of that, I want to be out there. I want to be doing all these things. But now it's like, you're in your own head.
Mm,
How are you gonna learn anything
mm,
if you're stuck in the mind, you
mhm.
know?
But for someone who is actually in their head and going through all of these things that you say you were actually going through, what would you like advise and tell them, like in terms of just helping them, you know?
Again, the big thing is just acknowledging
Mm-hmm.
that it's not where you're meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
Acknowledge that it's it's okay to stumble. It's okay to like feel sad and overwhelmed, but
Mm-hmm.
don't stay there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard to pull yourself out of that. But again, it's the journey
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna help you. There's this saying that goes, it's so hard being yourself in a world that's constantly trying to change you.
Yes.
And that has played such a huge role
Mm.
in the things that I've done, looking at it from that
Mm-hmm.
perspective. Another thing that I would advise is just understanding that the world is always gonna set you up for standards. They're always
Mm.
gonna have expectations.
Mm.
But when you want to do something,
Mm.
you're not doing it because other people say you must. You want to do
Mhm.
it because you feel like you love it.
Mhm.
And so you need to understand that the only way to truly get out of your head is to release the standards that people are busy trying to throw onto you.
And some of the standards we put on ourselves.
Yes,
Yeah.
we also put so many standards on
Mm.
ourselves. Someone once said to me, don't be born as an original and die as a copy.
Mm.
And that made me realize
Mm.
how we try to copy what other people are
Mm.
doing, and we're just building standards onto
Mm.
ourselves.
Mm.
So realizing that standards, you set standards for yourself. People don't set standards for you.
Mm. Mm. And seeing as how pageants have changed through time,
Mhm.
and me saying this, I'm saying this because of how Miss Essay this year, the theme,
Yeah.
I think you know the theme was inclusion,
Yeah.
right? The theme was inclusion. Do you feel like it is those themes are set even for such pageants as Miss Passionate.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely. Like this one, the theme is practically sisterhood. Not only
Mm,
is it our value.
mm,
Um, so I feel like it's changed a lot. You
mm,
know, we've gone from places where, for like Miss South Africa, um, pregnant women weren't really married or divorced, or pregnant women weren't really allowed to participate. But that's
mm,
evolving. If they
mm,
want to, that's okay.
mm,
So I think that there's definitely been an evolution
mm,
in the way things are done.
mm. But like, let's take it physically now,
Mm-hmm.
because there are a lot of standards that are put out here, and
Yeah,
there are a lot of, do's and don'ts in terms of you should look like this, you can't look like this. What do you
mm,
think of that? Because I think that's a bit discouraging,
it
because
is.
what if I'm fully equipped and it's just because I not a size 28?
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I mentioned earlier that specifically in pageantry, we
Mm-hmm.
believe that everyone can be a voice.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the theme, or let me rather say, the focus on pageantry
Mm-hmm.
has, or is being slowly shifted
Mm.
from stereotypes like body requirements and all of the stuff. It's being shifted from there to like, why should you be a title holder? What
Mm.
can you do? What is your
What
value?
difference can you make?
Exactly. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what impact do you have?
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like as we like continue, this generation is definitely like speaking like really hard on how your body shouldn't define the voice that you're going to have, or the
True.
platform that
Yes.
you're going to have to
Mm.
be a voice
Mm.
for others.
Mm. But you know what? In wrapping up, how about what's some of the ways that we can actually support you and make you win Miss Passionate Essay or Gauteng?
Yes, yes. um, so you can visit my Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
um, botlhales.world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, botlhales.world,
Mm-hmm.
where you'll find a voting poster and you can vote for me.
Mm-hmm.
Or alternatively, you can buy a ticket to come and support me.
Mm-hmm.
On Web Tickets, just search Miss Passionate 4th Annual Show and it will pop up.
When exactly is it in December?
It's on the 7th of December.
7th of
Yes.
December. So we should definitely go purchase our tickets. 7th of December, let's go. Most importantly, vote for you, right?
Yes,
Because I think that's
please.
what counts at the end of the day.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because and how exactly does voting work? It's the link, right? We click on the link, or can we do it via SMS?
Okay, so with this one specifically, there's banking details on there.
Okay.
So, for example, 5 rand, 10 rand equals to 5 votes,
Mm,
15 rand equals to 20 votes. Yeah,
okay. Oh, that's actually quite doable.
yeah.
So, in closing, what would you say to the next person, especially someone your age, that's
hmm
thinking, you know what, this is something I would like to do. I'm very passionate about this and this and this and this. What can you say to them right now? You can look at that camera and yeah.
Okay, so all I'm gonna say is you are capable.
Mm-hmm.
Do it because you have a voice that can impact many lives out there.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, like I said, it's hard being yourself in a world where people are constantly trying to make you different, but show them why you can and why your unique value is so important.
And that's on period.
Thank you.
And with that being said, please do not waste time. Go to her link right now, botlhales.world, and go vote for her. But most importantly, what you should be doing right now is subscribing to Dawning Experience.
Mhm.
Go like, comment, share, subscribe, and let everybody know to go vote for Botlhale, because Botlhale at the end of the day.
Thank you.
Botlhale. But thank you so much for joining us right here on Dawning Experience. We hope that you did enjoy the conversation that we did have with Botlhale. If you have anything to share, say, or whatever, put it in the comment section. But until next time, bye.
Bye.